Public agency with public, with employees, back to that again. So it's really an operator problem. We need to figure that out. Maybe we need to just start classes and pay for people to get that Korean courses up in Sacramento or something, because it's an operator supply problem mostly.
It's an experienced operator supply problem.
Well, absolutely.
We've got a lot of graduates of the Office of Water Programs at Cal State Sacramento and also Columbia College pushing out. A lot of them, but they're inexperienced. They don't have any experience in a utility. Some of them don't have any construction experience. Some of them, they like the biology of it. There's some of them with.
Can we work with? Real quick, but does state law require that they have to be working here to get that, at a public agency, right? That's what it is. To get that experience, they can get the license, but then the only way to get the experience is to be at a public agency working here. Starting at the bottom, right? At a water system.
He's asking,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
can you just get your certificates by taking classes, or do you have to have the work history in conjunction with the classes to obtain your certificates?
To advance above a 1.
So you could get a D1, T1 by going to school.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Then that's it.
Then
you gotta work and then also do, what is the hours called when you go to get your 2, you have to take a 2, you have to.
Continuing education.
Continuing education credits.
I cut you off, I'm sorry, because I was.
No, that's what I was just trying to.
There are programs that we work with, that we can work with like Columbia and work some of these people into jobs here. I mean, I would think we would be able to do something like that. I mean, where we would give the person an opportunity to work here while he's going to school.
But who's going to train them when they're here?
Well, yeah, but they're going to be D1s anyway.
Right, but they got to.
But they got to find somebody.
Who's going to train them while they're here? Yeah,
that's the thing, is that not only train them, but then also, supervise them. And you've got, if you're bringing in people that are not sure about the industry, they don't have a history in the industry, and they're trying to figure it out, there's some assembly required in those people in many cases, meaning you've got to spend a lot of time nurturing them. If you've got a big staff and you got full HR staffing and everything else, because even just the paperwork to deal with somebody with a nosebleed is huge, seriously. And so the more people you've got, the more inexperienced people, the more training. I'm not saying it's not possible, okay, but it's not possible with the administrative staffing that we have here to be able to just keep up with the paperwork and moving people through.
Who's responsible if we get let's say we had a contractor, and so, he doesn't really have somebody qualified, but he tells you he does, right, because he's covering his ass. And who's the responsible party if somebody finds out that they're not qualified to do the job? Is it the district, you, us, or him?
So it would be a little bit of both. It would be all of the above. It would be, number one, it would be the contractors required. In the contract documents that they're signing, they're required to meet the conditions of the contract, which is to maintain that staffing that they said they were going to maintain. It doesn't say it has to be a certain person. So they could have operators leaving every other week.
Right.
That we still have to get the work done that's outlined in their bid schedule and their work schedule to make sure that, that's how they comply with the contract. Now, if they have gone into this in a fraudulent way, and then all of a sudden pull their certified operators out, and they're doing it with just somebody off the streets, and the state calls us on the carpet and says, hey, you guys are lying to us, you know, the first thing we would do is say, that's not what our contract says, our contract says this, but we would have to get it rectified right away.
But
Before you turn anybody loose on our plant, you would get a copy of the certificate, make a copy for the files, and list it. And you wouldn't let a stranger walk in the door and say, oh yeah, I'm from there, I'm gonna run your plant today.
but if,
When you would have documentation.
Yeah, they would propose on how they're gonna staff it. They would be required to submit the certification, and then we keep those on file.
You would have,
and then,
okay.
yeah.
So-
if, you know, they would have the same trouble that we would have getting people.
Mhm.
And you know that are they gonna pay less? I doubt it, because we gotta pay more, so they're gonna pay the same amount, right? And they're gonna be from this pool that we don't have in this community, right? I mean, it's a huge problem, I totally agree, a staffing problem, but they're gonna wanna make a profit on top of that guy. You know, they're not gonna do it for fun and free, so it's gonna cost us even more. That's where those benefits that we think that shave away come back, you know, and cost to the contractor. He's gotta make a big profit and all that. I don't know, it's really tough.
Well, I'm convinced we could find the people.
He can't
But-
find
but
himself.
I know, we could find the people, but the problem is getting them trained. I'm convinced we could find,
Or retaining them.
or, well, probably retaining them too, but I think.
Once they're trained, they say, thank you, I get a good job now.
And the truth,
Somewhere else.
I gotta think of it this way too. We've got Pete for basically half-time. If we paid Pete for full-time, then he would have time to find us a crew, but half his time would be spent finding a crew in his plant. So if we're paying a contractor for a little in profit, just consider it, that's the price we pay for having a half-time manager. I mean, it's just, at some point, we're lean here, and we gotta pay a price for that, one way or the other. Whether it's having Pete do it full-time and half his time is trying to keep the staff going, or we do it the way it is now and find some other method of staffing.
Well,
It makes sense to me.
that's where, you know, I think we went after I'll say operations manager,
Right.
and to help handle those situations, and I don't know where you're at on that, so, if, you know, we
We're
have.
gonna have that conversation in closed session, because it'll cross the line on the personnel stuff a little bit.
That's fine.
So,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, it's all right, it's just, but it's a complicated issue, we're not the only one dealing with it, believe me, it's, you know, and I appreciate the conversation, I wanna be, that's why I led into it, saying I don't have a particular outcome. I'm not saying, you know, let's absolutely go this way, because it is gonna be more expensive. There's no doubt, because they're gonna perform what's in that contract.
The one thing that came to my mind as I heard you talk about these individuals or potential of doing this, and we've talked about the complexities of our system, pressure regulating valves, geographics, you know, and all that. Do you think it would be hard to educate a contractor to operate this system? I mean, the plant, I'm not talking about the plant per se, because I think the plant, yes, it's old, but it's, I'll say, semi-automated if they're up to speed on something. Is it a complicated plant to operate? Because that's one, we have to look at the integrity, water quality, and the safety of the community. That's priority. The second side is, I'm looking at outside of that scope of work, okay, reading meters, you know, I think, I read this, you know, part-time. Maybe we need to look for somebody to read meters part-time up here. That's a district employee who knows the community. And I know that's not in this scope of work, but we have to start thinking outside the box, because labor, it seems like, I mean, this is an old issue that we've been talking about operations for years. So, you know, what we've been doing hasn't worked. I mean, we've changed how we're, I'll say, managing the district, because now we have somebody that kind of keeps us up to date on current laws and regulations, because we didn't have that before. Is it time to say, okay, let's change our profile, say, okay, where we relieve operations from read the meters, say, okay, your job is to read meters, your job is to, I'll say, inspect them, you know, monthly or every quarter. My thought when you talked about the water theft, my comment, I'm gonna write to you back, I'll say it publicly, but I'm gonna say is, do we have the ability to lock off those, I'll say where we gauge cocks or meter cocks where we can actually put a physical lock on there? Or,
We got little barrel locks, we bought a billion of them.
I know, but how are they being used? I didn't know that.
But they do come locked too.
Okay, but then again, if we put locks or some kind of, I'll say meter seal on there, we see it broken, then we know somebody's tampering with the meter. I mean, that's kind of, and I know by driving by the meters now, as we do now, we don't physically see the meters, but we also don't physically see all of the other, potential meter on all the vacant lots. We don't know what's happening there, and if somebody's driving by and a line is buried or hose is there and the weeds are there, you don't see it. So I mean, maybe we have to change our profile. And do we just hire a part-time meter reader? We know that all the meters can be read, and I don't know if it makes sense, but to me, I'd say, okay, that relieves this key individual, whether it's a contract person or an employee here, from doing, and I was a meter reader with Edison, I'm not saying it's meter, but a simplified job. Maybe there's somebody in our community who knows the area. This is okay, I know water gets stolen here and I'm tired of it, that really takes a vested interest in doing it. Supplements their retirement a little bit. It's not a hard job where it's physically demanding. Or you get somebody who's interested in the industry. I just think we have to think differently, because my first thought was, how hard would it be to get a contractor in here who understands our system? And I'm going from the blanket as they haven't been trained and they're not gonna get trained. They have to come in here and operate it. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I don't know.
You know, what you just said is what I said 20 years ago when they were gonna put this meter reading system in. Biggest problem is you never look in that box again. All right, number two, one of the reasons we got the system is because those guys, oh, it's the worst, most horrible job in the entire world. There's snakes, there's boa constrictors in there, you know, all kind of manner of things. And so they say it's not an easy job, you know, but that's the reason they went to that system. And, but once you never look at your meters again, you run into that problem.
You lose track of your cash register.
And you know, some of those meters are like, they complain they're up and down and down. Okay, that would be like an old guy like me doing that probably, you know.
It's true, good point, good point.
I don't know. I mean, we have a huge problem.
It is a huge problem.
I still think we can work with maybe Columbia or with our own high school here, once they graduate from high school. I still think there's a way to do that.
But,
I
you
mean,
know,
it'd be part-time, but
part-time to do what?
to learn the process.
Okay, but
part-time.
here's go back to what Russ said. I'm gonna try to pull it together. Russ said, who's going to do that?
Yes, I heard
So
that.
yeah, I like your concept, but who's going to do it? That's, you know.
And it truly is that, you know, honestly, the operation of the water treatment plant can be in your pocket while you're out doing something else, okay? I'm just telling you, we don't need to attend this every minute that it's running. There are times when crisis happens, things are blowing up, water's changing, whatever, you know, you gotta spend more time, and sometimes that's extends into a couple days or a week or whatever, but in reality, it's not, you're right, somebody from almost anywhere can come in and operate that plant, get a little bit of training. It's everything else that, you know, that, some plumbing experience, some electrical experience, some troubleshooting experience, some water quality experience.
How long will it take you to train somebody?
A year.
A year.
But that's riding along with somebody else too, you know?
I know.
But they also gotta be taking those D1, D2, and all that stuff, which is really difficult. At least the 2 is, I guess. It's
Yeah.
chemistry and all that stuff.
A lot of this will be, if we can address the, you know, the operations manager issue, and like I said, you know, we'll be talking about appointment this afternoon a little bit in the closed session. That will take care of a lot of this, because somebody that could go out and get, contracted work on the PRVs once every 3 years, response, it doesn't have to be our guys every time trained in this stuff for things that don't fail all the time, or don't take maintenance all the time. The pumps, So it's a specialty field, sure, to be able to troubleshoot it. Why is it not opening, why is it doing that? That we should be trained to do. But really working on the pump, tearing it apart or whatever, that's gonna be a contractor out anyway. But to know how to contract a contractor and get the right price and get the right work done takes somebody's time and, in many cases a lot. So,
You had your hand up, or you raised
I
your
was being
hand?
really patient.
oh,
So I don't have experience in this field, dealing with contractors and full-time employees and stuff, but some of the things that Emery said really resonated with me, and I heard a number thrown at that. You said we're at 88, they're at 96, and our issue is that we're not able to get people that are interested in working here. And the almighty dollar sure does a whole lot. I just wonder if we need to if we've got to step up to the plate to get some full-time people, then that's what we need to do. 4 months ago, I said, the pitch for contracting is coming. I said it to an individual, and lo and behold, here it is. We have it in front of us, and we're talking about it. I see problems with contractors, because if I'm a contractor, and I'm going to cycle through people too. So every time, this week I send Johnny in to work on the system, and then next week I send Chuck, and the next week I send Victor. We're running into the same problem. They're fulfilling their contractual obligations. I'm giving you a T1D1. I'm giving you a T2D2. I can't help it they don't understand your system. I'm giving you what you asked for. I see big complications going contract. And for reasons like that. I don't know how you can contractually write it in to cover that, but...
I'm going to challenge you, because I dealt with contractors, and normally a contractor, his markup is 30 to 40%. So that employee, that individual actually doing the work, is probably making less than our people. But on a billable contract hour, it's probably substantially, $8,000 a year is not substantial. It's, $3 or $4 an hour, maybe, if you look at a couple thousand hours. So the individual is not making the money.
It doesn't matter about the individual. The bottom line is I'm outlaying $96,000.
No, what I'm saying to you, Jim, is
96.
what I'm trying to say to you is, when you look at the employee, when you say raise the salary of the employees to get them here, I don't think that's the issue. I really don't feel that.
Well, we don't know if that's the issue.
Well,
we don't know if that's the issue. I don't know if we've done that exercise.
Okay. I can accept you, but I'm just saying, keep them out.
No, I get it. The contractor's getting $96,000. That employee might be getting $75,000. I get that.
Yeah.
So step up to the plate. I want to hire you, Lou Richardson, and I want to pay you $96,000 plus all the benefits. You know what I mean? So that's just my view. I think contract it's the way of the future. Everything. You can look at the U.S. military. You can look at tons of organizations that are going strictly contract, because long and short of it, it ends up being cheaper. But
it'll eliminate some problems. I don't know if
it
it's
eliminates
cheaper.
problems and it creates other problems.
I don't know if it's cheap. I don't know if it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But I just say, I can agree with a lot of what has been said.
If when you talk about military contract, you talk about cooks and stuff like that, they contract that kind of stuff out.
They talk contract aircraft maintainers now.
Well, anyway, but the problem we run into, I think, with this is if a guy's doing this job for 30 or 40% because the manager or the company is making that money, he can leave there just like our guys can leave here, And we're back to the same thing.
And they probably
He
do.
might have a staffing problem too. But I think that they're gonna fake it, is what I think, because they have to meet the contract. And we see a guy out there, we don't know unless, we're gonna see a copy of his contract, his license with him in his pocket or something, It's a very difficult problem.
Right.
Well, I think it all boils down to is needs to come with us to the board with something a little more solid. We can't fix the problem. Those 5 people in the seat can't fix the problem. There has to be a proposal set in front of us to say, yeah, we like this, no, we don't. Or we need to go into closed session, or whatever, however it works in accordance with the Brown Act rules and stuff like that. But we can talk about this for the next 2 hours and get absolutely nowhere. But I think it's good that it's on the table, and everybody's kind of got their thoughts out, and you've heard that. You kind of hear what the concerns are of each individual.
Yeah, that was the, when you said you saw a pitch coming for it, again, I'm not pitching it.
No, I knew it was coming. Probably a bad choice of words.
But it's okay, it's, this is a normal, when it's a politically charged decision, it's normal to kick it back to the board to get your thoughts, you know? I mean, I understand the concerns, I have them myself, you know, but there's a lot of things, and the next step on this, going this direction, as Russ brought up, is a lot of work. If we're not really sure that we're ready to do that, then we probably shouldn't.
Okay, so why don't we stop, I'm gonna stop you there, because you need to have a feel whether this board would go that direction or not, because there's no sense you going and putting in any kind of energy or effort into it. This is my thought, my thought is, are we opposed, or are we neutral, or, where are we at on this thing? And I'm gonna ask each board member, where are you at? Because there's no sense in you spending the time to go out and, as Russ said, spend a month's time or whatever. If we're gonna say, we are not gonna vote for this, let's be candid and unfair now, because if we need to make it, gotta say, are we gonna support it, are we against it, or where are we at, because otherwise there's no sense in wasting any more breath or time on this. So, Emery, what's your thought?
My thought is that I'll vote for anything that allows you to get the employees you need to run this system with qualified operators, be it contract or paying more money. You're in a corner. You have to, we don't get too many choices. So I support whatever you're gonna come up with,
Okay.
no choice. You're the expert.
I agree with Emery. I'm wondering if maybe we need a committee specifically for this problem, and their whole task, if we decide we're gonna look at it, their whole task would be to support Pete in gathering research, putting together data, whatever it takes to come up with a decision. But the most important thing is staffing, and we need to get stuff done. I wouldn't be opposed to somebody spending a little energy looking at the educational side of it. If they're training at Columbia, it seems like maybe in the future we could take call interns from Columbia and get them some field time down here. Then we don't have to pay them very much. We get some of the menial stuff done that we're way behind on at a moderate price, and they learn something. We put some people in the field. Who knows? But we need more staff to do that.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, you missed it.
I know, I did it on purpose. See, took him off guard, now he has to step up.
Well, no, there's a reason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, what is your opinion is what we need, right?
My opinion is that I don't know if we've done our due diligence in trying to get the qualified people on a full-time basis. I think we need to maybe work a little harder at trying to get people. So if it came up for a vote right now and we were to say, let's go contractor, let's invest in our people in the system, I would be on board with saying, let's invest in the people in our system as opposed to on contract. I don't know if we've done our due diligence in getting, but I don't have a feel for what's been done, so it's very difficult for me to say that.
Okay. Good, yeah.
Well, I guess I fall in with all of you here, but I still think, we had a program where the state actually assisted an intern when they were working for us. The state actually paid part of the salary, or the school paid part of the salary. And I just think, I think if we could work in that direction. I mean, we have to, I agree with you, Emery, I think we have to keep this place running. But I think we also can come up with the people, you know, and maybe even educated people that live in this area.
Dan, you used to be a school board member and a teacher, so can't you look at that a little bit? Maybe you're the most qualified to take a look and see if maybe that opportunity would exist.
Where the state could.
Well, I can do that.
That's a good point.
Certainly I can do that. Probably would just take a phone call to Columbia's, but also to maybe the state too.
You know, I a very strong pro having our own employees,
So am I.
but we have challenges. We've had challenges from the time I've been on here of keeping good employees. It's tough. They talked about, one, the pool of people up here is very scarce. Two is the training, and the training is what here. When we had a larger staff, there was more availability of people to train these people, so on and so forth. And I am 50-50, and I hate to say that to be kind of willy-nilly, but my thing is, what is it gonna take for us to keep the doors open here and water served to this community? That's what's important. You know, I don't care, I would like to see somebody come in here that is motivated, driven, whatever, that wants to run this system. That's what I'd like to see. But if we can't find that, and we're having the resource issues of, I'll say, not having the staff here, then we got a bigger issue. When we don't have somebody here to run it, we've been in that position a few times, and we've got to do something to protect ourselves. And if we have to go that way, it hurts. It hurts our, I'll say, our local people of having a job from our own community. That hurts us. But sometimes you have to make very tough and hard decisions. So,
I just had an inspiration. You know, if there's one thing we got in Don Pedro, it's geezers. And I can't imagine there aren't some of them that would just love to come over here and work for 20 hours a week doing whatever we needed them to do. And if that part of what they needed to do was to get a basic license, I know it's not hard, my friend did it, and he's a geezer.
a T1D1 is pretty simple. When you go to 2, 3, and 4, you have to have experience in this.
They already live here.
And some of these people
And they're not
have lots of
looking for
experience.
retirement. They got life experiences that might amaze you.
Yeah.
Maybe I think there might be some resources in our own backyard that if we're not looking full-time.
Wes and Victor, you're going to school.
Well,
The boys are gonna be
What
operators.
you shared is something.
I have some comments I'd like to make.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Thank you, Victor. Okay, so let's pull in, we'll stop there, then we'll pull in the public comment. Go ahead, Victor.
Ever consider getting a community meeting and talking about it? Give an example, Sonora Regional Medical Center. They're getting doctors from the Bay Area. There's 3 doctors right now moving to Sonora from Stanford because they don't want to be involved in a rat race in the Bay Area. There are a lot of people here available from the Bay Area who would love to work here for less money, but they enjoy the scenery. Get a community involved. Otherwise, I know several people in here, including 3 of our neighbors, who moved from the Bay Area to work over here. Period. Because number one, they don't make as much money as they used to be in the Bay Area, but they don't have the rat race. They also enjoy the scenery and everything else. So get a community involved. There are a lot of people available over here who will be able to help you.
Good idea, Victor.
I know several of them right now. For example, our neighbor across the street, she used to be a deputy sheriff in San Mateo County, and used to be work over there, but I talked to them more than once and said, we're getting tired of rat race over there. We got to peace and quiet and the beauty of the area. Yes, we'll make less money, but we enjoy it. So they're not just the money situation.
Well, there are people with water experience here too.
Oh, there
I know
are.
that for a fact.
I know, my son-in-law worked for City
That's
County
a
San
great
Francisco.
point.
Okay, thank you, Victor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get a community involved.
Thank you. Mr. Prince.
I've been disappointed in the direction the board has gone for a long time, needless to say. I don't think that surprises people. This CSD was created for the benefit of the community. The outside people couldn't handle it, so they got rid of it. just for that reason. And when you reach 50 or 60 years old,
Can you clarify what that statement you just meant? The old people got rid of it?
No, outside.
no, outside people got rid of the responsibility.
Like the
A
old company?
CSD is a community service district.
Right.
That is created to serve just
The community.
that community because they haven't been able to do it from the
Got
outside.
that, okay, so,
That's what I mean.
so it went from kind of like a contract in the past, people who weren't vested in the community.
It's like, you know, having a PG&E or something.
I got you now.
You can't get it.
I was on track, I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
got your
The
statement.
point is that they said that this community needs to serve itself, and that's what this community
Gotcha.
service district was built for.
Definitely.
And others throughout the state.
Sorry about that.
When you reach 50 or 60 years old, working out here, doing this work that our operations people do, they're at the limit of the old geezer work to continue doing that. I mean, that's probably not a direction to be looking at. Look in the office, where they can do some things, there's a lot of old geezer work that can be done in the office if one is properly trained. There isn't a reason in the world we only need 4 or 5 people out of 3,000 people here without schools here. We got schools all the way from kindergarten all the way through high school, that we could not have programs set up. It's not just in this water district, all over this country we don't have enough people that want to work with their hands and want to learn how to do that like to work hard, okay? And get paid a decent wage. I mean, we pay a decent wage. We can build from the bottom up here the people that we need to operate here and train them as we go along. We just have not done it. We've looked for an escape. We've looked for an easy way to operate this plant, to operate this district. We just haven't done it. We just have not committed ourselves to go out and solve this particular problem. We get paid $5 or $6 an hour more effectively by not having to commute, you know? So, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that points to making it happen just local, that you can't do it from the outside. This place needs to be run by the inside, and it needs to be run for the benefit of the insiders.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Wu?
You know, I'm hearing a lot of different things that just don't total up. You talk about employees, oh, they won't have experience here in Lake Don Pedro, and that's gonna be a big issue. You've got a general manager here we pay really good money to that had plenty of experience with Lake Don Pedro. And he can't read a simple map. A simple friggin' map. Well, he could read it. He didn't want to follow the law. He did not want to follow the regulations. He wanted to pursue what he pursued 20 years ago. So don't sit here and talk about, oh, experience is so important. Character, honesty is far more important than that. And you do not have an honest GM.
Okay.
I have one more item, please.
No, we're done. I'm done.
You might be, but we're not.
We're done. I had public comment, we're done.
You live in the wrong country.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
You up to federal general grand jury about it.
Thank you. So I think you got our comments, Pete, and you could go forward from there.
Got a piece of it.
So,
I think, just because of some of the difficulties, we probably should cross off that, the salary benefit survey part of it. You know, we have used the information from surveys from 15-16 that CSDA did for administrative staffing and management staffing, but it doesn't go down into the operations, and the operation, where they used to do an operations salary benefit survey, it's not done the same way they used to be. But we can certainly go out and see if we're missing something.
Okay.
Just
For our
because,
own
you
internal
know, when the job announcement goes out at a pretty good wage to 2,000 people and you get 12 applicants and half of them don't have anywhere near the experience, that's pretty disheartening. You know. So anyway, I think that'd be a good, that's a no-cost step to see.
All right, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is this discussion potential action related to an outside place of use compliance plan as required by the State Division of Water Rights. Pete, you want to go over this?
Yeah, we, in part of our response back to the state, from the agenda item that we discussed last month, we have to propose a compliance plan. Basically, the state.